Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Libra energy. We have the courtship card. Now we're going to read this from multiple perspectives because it's not a personal reading and I don't know your life. But in general, people can harness high vibe Libra energy or low vibe Libra energy, and we all tap into Libra energy. You know, it's about what we think is just and fair. People who think it's just and fair to align with their just more worldly nature. Maybe they don't see life from a higher perspective of thinking there's any other purpose to us being on this planet. You know, we're here, the world says make your life about money and materialism or indulging in things of the world, and that's how they live their life. Other people have learned that the things of the world is not what brings them true fulfillment in their life. It's love. And they think it's just and fair to live their life differently than that. People are motivated and inspired by different things in life. We have the courtship card, the coffin card, the great fortune card, the marriage card, the gift card, and the message of concern. And the reason for the reading is imprisonment. So, a courtship could have come to an end because, well, we'll have to read it from both perspectives. Some people, a relationship ended, and because they aligned with the masculine in tarot can represent our worldly nature, and the feminine in tarot can represent our more emotionally intuitive nature. Because some people are balanced within themselves, and Justice Libra energy talks about being balanced within yourself in high vibe. Because the relationship ended, some people ended up realizing the true abundance they held within themselves because of being balanced within themselves. They did the work to free themselves from what they used to be aligned with, which would maybe be more their pride and ego. And the coffin card reminds me of the Scorpio death card, which can be where we detach from old ways of being in order to give birth to something new. And people who aligned with love realized that was their true relationship they wanted to be aligned with. And they're taking that gift to free themselves from being imprisoned from their fear, their insecurity, their pride, their ego. And the concern card could be that you're still concerned about other people in the world who you know are still imprisoned by their fear and insecurity. For some people, a relationship could have ended because someone decided was more aligned with their shadowy Libra nature of making life more about money and materialism and status and image. And if there was someone in their life who had great abundance, they could have decided they wanted to get in a relationship with them. And then, too, it's just for us to decide what do we want to align with within ourselves, our loving nature or our more worldly ego nature. Which one, the abundance of those two choices, which one do we value? And some people think there's more value in aligning with their more ego nature, and they just haven't learned lessons in life that the things of the world are meant to be enjoyed, but not at the extent of love. And we will end up feeling imprisoned by those things. We can get imprisoned by our ego, our fear, our lust, our greed, and it runs our life off into the ditch. And what some people thought was a gift is now causing them concern because they're realizing now that it has trapped them. You know, that's the thing about learning lessons in life, you know. We can all, if we don't align with loving ourselves, and we haven't learned how to love ourselves and treat ourselves with kindness and compassion and forgiveness in our own head, and every day treat ourselves that way because we're the only person we control. And who knows what the hell anybody else is going to do in the world. But we should be the one person in the world who every day, like being our own best mother, father, coach voice in our head. Some people haven't learned to do that. And they then can look outside of themselves for love. And when we haven't learned that lesson to love ourselves, we could get ourselves in relationships that seem very abundant, maybe in a lot of ways, emotionally, stability and security wise. But then the thing that we thought came into our life as a gift, we're concerned because if both people aren't in the relationship of loving themselves, and they're in the relationship and they still haven't done the work to love themselves and be open and honest and authentic and giving in a relationship, they could make decisions in that relationship out of fear and insecurity and pride and ego and selfishness and greed and lust and indulgence and control. And then you feel imprisoned by it. We either empower ourselves and we learn to empower ourselves and love ourselves, or we're looking to outside people outside of ourselves, kind of disempowering ourselves. Like we don't hold the key to our own abundance and love. Other people have to give it to us for us to feel stable or abundant within ourselves. And that makes us codependent on other people. And sometimes people like us to be codependent because then they can indulge in a relationship because we haven't learned to love and believe in ourselves. And then they can be kind of controlling and manipulative and abusive. Tell us about the courtship card. Ten of Pentacles. Oops. Okay. And I guess this card wants to not show itself. So when a card is in reverse, it could be things that people were rejecting or people not showing other people. Six of Cups. Some of you could have gotten in relationships with people, and that can be friendship, work colleagues, whatever. You could have gotten in a relationship or a workplace that you thought was going to be very stable and abundant, but what people weren't showing you is that either they don't like to work together with people from that pure, innocent, kind of emotionally cooperative, deep emotional connected nature, or they weren't showing you that they like to repeat patterns of the past. And people who like to repeat patterns of the past, they give the illusion in the Ten of Pentacles that they're very stable and abundant and grounded and insightful and all that. It's Virgo energy. But if they still, why would any of us want to keep repeating the same old patterns of the past if it's not based on love? Because it makes us feel safe. We want to keep doing things the way we've always done it. And you could have realized that this wasn't going to move forward in a really abundant, loving way. That it is more about doing things the way I've always done it. And everybody has different ways of viewing life and how they grew up and what the kind of the patterns that they want to repeat in life. And you could have realized that the patterns that this person had of relationship that they wanted to be in is where people do feel maybe trapped by them. Some people want to get people in relationships to trap them. Cool. Let me indulge in a relationship with you. Let me manipulate you and control you, And some people realize that and they're like, nope, I'm ending this. I'm going to align with my more loving nature and other loving people in my life and move forward in love. And the people who maybe weren't willing to work together with you from a deep emotional foundation, who in shadowy Virgo energy of the Ten of Pentacles can be very, we're supposed to stay in relationships because of a certain image and a certain status and pride and ego. I am enslaved to those things. Aren't you enslaved by those same things? And you're like, no, I didn't get in a relationship with you because I wanted a certain status or image. I thought we were going to put an end to old ways of being that don't have life-giving energy to them, which is pride and ego and fear. And I thought we were going to move forward in love. And I thought we were going to grow and mature ourselves. And the other person was like, that means I would have to free myself from my own ways of viewing life. And I have some fear and insecurity about doing that, because then maybe they'd have to have more trust and faith in people. We either are trying to trap people in relationships with us, or we're willing to grow and mature with them, and we trust people and we love people and we're willing to go with the flow. And other people are like, well, if I let you, or if you're bold and brave and confident, and you could leave me one day, and then what? It's like, well, how about we have hope and faith and belief in the relationship, and we both grow and mature ourselves, and we keep looking at life as an adventure to be lived, and nobody has to control or imprison anyone. Tell us about the death card. You didn't want to repeat patterns of the past, and they did. Tell us about the death card. You were willing to put an end to the past and emotionally detach from it and move forward, and they weren't. They also, with the coffin card reminding me of the Scorpio death card, they could be people that kind of keep themselves imprisoned, because low vibe Scorpio energy would be people who, and they don't have to be a Scorpio, don't get caught up in the zodiac signs. They could be people who like to keep their emotions hidden beneath the surface and live more of an emotionally shallow life. And it is about conforming to the world. It is all about your presentation to the world and how people view you. That's most important. And being in emotionally connected relationships isn't their thing. And they kind of live a more emotionally shallow life. And when they get in relationships with people, they could try to stop the people they're in relationship with from growing and maturing and aligning with their more loving nature and moving forward in the gift of love, because that concerns them, because then, you're not making them the center of their universe, or you're not making them the center of your universe. And if you're not making them the priority in your life, and you adhere to a higher truth, a higher sense of justice, which is about love and believing in yourself, if they don't love and believe in themselves, and they're kind of imprisoned by some fear and maybe codependency or ego and image, and you're not, well, you're viewing life completely differently. And in order for them to move forward with you, they would have to free themselves. And some people don't want to look at the things that they keep buried beneath the surface. They've kind of put an end to listening to their more creative, inspired, intuitive nature. So in the death card, we have the Fool and the Three of Cups. Some people that you could have been in a relationship were willing to end a relationship with you because they're foolish. And the Three of Cups can be people who present themselves. The Three of Cups is Cancer energy. They present themselves as being people who are like loving family people, but they use their emotions manipulatively in a relationship. And, that's a foolish risk that people can take in a relationship. Not being open and honest and authentic and kind of presenting a facade of being loving and committed and all that, but you're unwilling to move forward in a more loving, authentic manner because you have fear and insecurity that you're not telling people about. And you like to repeat patterns of the past and be in relationship with people who maybe also are aligned with their more shadowy nature of being kind of more emotionally manipulative and prideful and materialistic and stuff like that. A relationship could have ended because you wanted to take a risk in love, and they want to keep doing life like they've done it, where they use their emotions more manipulatively, and they want to be in a relationship with other people who are willing to kind of repeat that pattern with them. They're not willing to detach from the past. For some of them, they might not have been showing you. The Six of Cups can be about wanting to reunite with someone from your past. And maybe if they ended a relationship with you, they thought they could reunite with someone from their past and get in a courtship with them. Or they're unwilling to detach from other people in their life also that kind of manipulate and control them. And they're not willing to emotionally detach from those people because maybe they're kind of codependent on those people for their sense of stability and emotional stability and sense of groundedness in the world, because they haven't learned to be more emotionally independent and love and believe in themselves so that they can be more independent. For some, you could have been in a relationship with someone. They weren't showing you that there was someone from their past that they wanted to reunite with. And in order to move forward with you in a relationship and a more, move forward in life, basically, take a risk and be bold and brave and let the past go, they weren't willing to let the past go with the Death card. And so they took a risk to repeat some patterns that you didn't appreciate in the relationship. And because of that, the relationship ended. And then also, they could have known someone who experienced, they were maybe waiting for that person that they wanted to be in a relationship to experience an ending in their life, like a breakup in a relationship or something. And if that relationship ended, then they were going to take a risk to go get in a relationship with them. Because either because that person has money and materialism, or they're just more worldly and image and status focused, just like they are. And that seems to be more the foundation that they align with than a more loving based life. Okay. Tell us about the Great Fortune and the Marriage card. Okay, well, these two cards came out first and they're not showing themselves. So again, in order to move forward with you in a friendship or work dynamic, whatever it is, where people are open and honest and giving and kind and respectful, or marriage or a relationship, they reject these cards, or they don't show people these aspects about themselves, and they like to keep them hidden. And if they move forward with you, maybe they would have to quit being this way or something. Oh, Knight of Cups and the King of Cups. Well, and then the reason these two came, oh no, not the reason these two came out. These also came out in the middle of the deck, the Four of Swords and the Death card. The Four of Swords is Libra energy. It would be about healing and being able to detach from the past to move forward in your life. And those came out because of the Ten of Wands and the Page of Cups. People would have to take bold, creative action in love and let their more emotionally vulnerable nature out into the world. And some people aren't willing to do that. You are willing to do that. The other person maybe rejects, because in upside down it can mean what people reject or what they weren't showing you. Since they weren't showing themselves, they don't maybe have hope and faith and belief in themselves or in love or in others, and they don't connect in with their emotions and their intuition and take action on those things. They reject that. And, we either move forward in truth, or because we've been hurt before, we either reflect on the truth of, why relationships didn't work out. Was I selfish and greedy? Were they selfish and greedy? Blah, 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 blah. We either reflect on the truth and we're willing to detach from the past and move forward in our life, and we're willing to give it everything we've got to basically kind of reconcile ourselves with the past. I view the Page of Cups as offering love to the past. Like, I let it go. Peace. I'm moving on. I've healed. They weren't willing to do that because maybe it would require that they do reflect on the past pain and heartbreak and willing to let it go and offer peace to the past to move forward in their life, and they weren't willing to do that. We're either willing to see the truth that life's about love, or we let our past pain and heartbreak dictate the decisions that we make in our life. And we could keep wanting people who weren't loving in the past to love us, and we keep trying to make them love us. Or we reject love and we think in our pride and ego we know better, and maybe being emotionally shallow and defensive because we're overwhelmed about love. And that could be the type of relationship they want to be in. If they don't love themselves and believe in themselves, and they don't trust other people, and they're not willing to put an end to old ways of being to give birth to something new so they can quit being imprisoned by their fear and their pride and their ego. Some people aren't willing to let their more emotionally vulnerable nature out in the world. They could get hurt. And if they don't believe that they have a strong enough foundation to withstand disappointment, their fear and their ego make them keep their loving nature locked behind closed doors. And they think they have a better plan in their pride and ego. I'm going to be emotionally defensive. I'm going to be emotionally shallow. I'm going to get in relationships basically to indulge myself in relationships. It's about me. And if anybody wants me to grow and mature myself and deal with my past pain and heartbreak and be more vulnerable and authentic in a relationship, no. They are invested in repeating these patterns of the past where they make foolish decisions because they're not aligning with love. They're aligning more with their pride and ego. And when they align with their more fearful, defensive, egoic nature, it opens the door for third parties to play and manipulate them. Oh, are you fearful and insecure? Come get in a relationship with me. Oh, are you kind of immature and indulgent? Cool. Come get in a relationship with me. Oh, do you not believe in yourself? Do you not love yourself? Are you still imprisoned by fear and insecurity? Perfect. Get in a relationship with me. Let me manipulate and control you. I think life's all about learning lessons to stand up for yourself and believe in yourself and love yourself. And we're going to go through some painful life lessons to learn to do that. And we know some people who never stand up for themselves, never put in work and effort to love and believe in themselves and detach from patterns of the past. And some people, you wanted the relationship to move forward. If you were in a relationship with someone who was kind of taking foolish risks, they were trying to emotionally manipulate you, keep you maybe in fear and insecurity and codependency, you said, no, this ends. I'm choosing to align with love. I am rejecting someone who I thought would be a counterpart to me, because you're not. It was more of an illusion that you would move forward in love, but you take action motivated by negative emotions. And I'm going to heal from the pain and heartbreak of this situation, and I'm going to detach emotionally from you. Even though it's overwhelming, I'm going to give it everything I've got to have a new inspired beginning. I wish you peace. I am moving forward and listening to my intuition, and my intuition was given to me as a gift by the divine. And if the divine and my intuition is telling me that people either want to be in a relationship with someone else, by their actions have shown me that, or someone else tries to trap and imprison me in fear and codependency in a relationship, taking foolish risks and being emotionally manipulative, no. That is not my dream relationship, and I'm not going to be enslaved by my fear and codependency. I am going to love myself and heal from this situation, and I am offering myself the gift of love, because we all got free will to do that, to free myself from this. And some people who try to manipulate and control you to make you do a relationship the way they want, to not believe in yourself, to be codependent, to turn your back on love and your dreams and be in a relationship with them, those people could be concerned right now because you're not in fear and insecurity and codependency, and you're moving forward in your life and freeing yourself. Tell us about the gift. Knight of Cups, because of the High Priestess. The gift is Nine of Cups, or the Knight of Cups is Pisces energy, emotional water sign energy. That is that aspect of ourself that we have the free will to tap into, to connect in with our emotions and our intuition. The High Priestess is Cancer Pisces energy, to connect in with our intuition. And Pisces energy also is about being willing to have hope and faith and belief in our dreams and offer love to having hope and faith and belief in ourselves, letting our intuition guide us. Tell us about the message of concern. Ooh, that's too many. Only like 5 maximum. That was more like 10. The 7 of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, the 5 of Pentacles, and the 3 of Swords. And the reason is because of the 7 of Wands and the 9 of Wands. Some people are defensive to their dreams coming into reality because why wouldn't everybody want to be in a loving, open, honest, authentic relationship? Because they're fearful of it. What if I invest in people and I invest myself in it and I'm open and honest and loving? What if something happens? What if I'm left out in the cold in the 5 of Pentacles? What if I'm heartbroken? Some people don't believe that they can withstand that. It would be just devastating to them. You know, people either they're fearful and their fear of not believing in themselves to be able to withstand emotional storms in their life keeps them from taking a risk in love. You know, that's sad. But some people are really defensive of investing in the 7 of Pentacles in love, because they're afraid they could be left out in the cold and hurt. And some people aren't willing to take a risk. It's not worth the risk, I guess, in their mind. Love and being in a loving, committed, giving, inspiring relationship, or being bold and brave enough to go apply for that job that they'd really like to be in, but they're so afraid they'll fail, they just don't even pursue it. You know, there's a lot of people in life who don't take action in their life towards the things that they think they'd really like to do because they're so afraid of failure. That would be us being caught up in our pride and ego. Life's about making mistakes and failing at things, you know? You go apply for it. If it doesn't work out, you know, but some people are like, oh, if I went and applied for it and then I got it and then it didn't work out, then people would view me as a failure. Screw those people. Who cares what they think? You know, you take the lesson you learned from it. It's like, oh, did I need to have more education? Was I kind of full of myself? Did I not know what I was doing? Or was it more challenging than I thought it was? Did I apply myself? Didn't I apply myself? You know, some people are just afraid of taking a risk. So afraid of failure that they're not willing to put themselves out there. Other people are afraid of being betrayed and heartbroken. They're so afraid of being hurt that they won't even take a risk in love, and they'll settle for emotionally manipulative relationships, maybe decide to make their life more about ego and image and money and get in relationships with people who have money and get in a relationship where they don't have skin in the game. Oh, well, if that doesn't work out, oh, well. It looked good while I was working. They had money, they had image, whatever. It was good for my ego. If it doesn't work out, oh well. I'll just go try to get in a relationship with someone else. I don't have skin in the game. I wasn't emotionally invested. For others, they could have taken a foolish risk. They let go of people in their life that they could have had a really abundant relationship with in lots of ways: love, stability, security, kindness, compassion. But if there was someone from their past who does definitely have a lot of money, and that person was offering them maybe a new financial beginning, they could have said, I'm not sure if this loving, abundant relationship will bring me the money and image that I want. So I will offer love to the person who is offering me money and stability. And like I say, some of them secretly, maybe that's how they live their life, that they're secretly willing to invest emotionally in people who offer them things that are good for their image or their status or their financial status. And maybe that's how they view life. Maybe that's, we all do what we think is just and fair. And there could be some people, male or female, who think it's just and fair for me to emotionally invest in people who have money, materialism, and status and image. And if those people experience an ending in a relationship where I think I have an opportunity to go get in a relationship with them, maybe where I think I can use my emotions manipulatively with them to get what I want, I'll do it. And some of those people thought that was okay, it would be okay, it would work out. Now those people could be afraid that they trapped themselves. They weren't listening to their intuition. They weren't making decisions out of love. They were making decisions out of pride, ego, fear, insecurity, whatever. And now they could be feeling trapped. Because they could have taken a risk to go get in that relationship, and they defended that relationship in the 7 of Wands and the 9 of Wands. They defended investing in someone who might have felt left out in the cold because of a relationship ending in their life, and they were heartbroken, and that person offered them a new emotional beginning if they would invest in them and defend them instead of the other people in their life. And they said, okay, well, let's go find out why they now are maybe feeling like they trapped themselves. Well, the difference is, off the bat, is they had lessons to learn in life that they hadn't learned, because if they'd learned those lessons, they wouldn't be aligning with their more fearful, prideful, selfish, greedy nature. Because if they'd lived enough life, they would realize that they get burned when they do that. Things don't work out like we think. We plant bad seeds, we reap a bad harvest. Some people maybe didn't think there would be consequences to their actions. Maybe people don't believe there's a higher truth and order at play in the world, and they can do whatever the hell they want, and things will just magically work out for them. And I don't think the world's set up that way. I think there is a higher truth and order, and we reap what we sow. And if we weren't planting seeds of love, and our intentions weren't love, or we're not seeing people clearly because we have lessons to learn about people in our past that we think are loving, but we're not seeing it clearly. Those people maybe don't like to work together with people from a deep emotional foundation. They have their own patterns. If we're not willing to learn and grow and mature and be open and honest and authentic with other people, we could have illusions about being able to repeat that pattern with other people. So we go try to find someone else who we think will repeat that pattern of life with us. But what they don't see is that the person they're going to go get in a relationship with is someone who has their own patterns of life. They're imprisoned by their own fear and insecurities, and they have lessons to learn in life about being loving and healed. So then we could have two unhealed people who don't want to see the truth, who don't want to maybe learn lessons that life's about loving and believing in yourself. And, two people maybe presenting illusion in a relationship. And they get in a relationship with someone and they end up feeling left out in the cold and heartbroken because they get in a relationship with people who are like themselves, who Seven of Wands is Leo energy. That can be people who are prideful, stubborn, manipulative, egotistical, and who are defensive. What kind of relationship is that to be in? This person foolishly could have viewed someone in their past as being loving. They weren't seeing this person clearly. This person rejects working together with people in emotionally balanced, loving manner. They're defensive. They're guarded. They, just like this person could be defensive and guarded at being hurt, they could have thought, oh, if I go get in a relationship with this person, they do relationships like I do. It's like this person has more pain and heartbreak and more imprisoned than you even are. And they're even more defensive than you are. And so again, we kind of reap what we sow. If we weren't willing to work with other people because we were defensive and guarded, guess who shows up in our life? If we aligned with our defensive, guarded nature, who comes into our life? Other people who are defensive and guarded. If we thought it was just and fair to leave other people out in the cold and heartbroken because we're defensive and guarded, and for us to emotionally invest more in money and materialism and status, guess what kind of people are going to come in our life? Our outer world will reflect our inner world. And now they got in a relationship with someone who's kind of just like them. And now it's like, oh, you're not like who I thought you'd be. I feel left out in the cold and heartbroken that I came and got in a relationship with you. But, are we going to stay in our pride and ego about it? Are we unwilling to admit that we made a mistake? Are we willing to learn lessons from this life experience? Or, are we going to stay in it just because it has money and materialism and status and image? They kind of thought people should have been willing to stay in a relationship with them because of those reasons. Are they willing to stay in a relationship because of those reasons? They thought it should have been good enough for other people to be imprisoned in a relationship with them where they repeat patterns of the past, maybe because they have money and materialism. Is it good enough for them? If they stay in it, their dreams of what could be will come to an end. But for some of them, they might be imprisoned by it, but their dream, because the Two of Wands is about imagining your life and what it could be. Some people's dream always was to be of the world. It wasn't about learning and growing and maturing and healing from their past pain and heartbreak. Because in high vibe, people would take bold, brave, confident action to learn the lessons they were meant to learn, to free themselves from their more worldly nature and their ego nature and their fearful nature that keeps them imprisoned and enslaved. High vibe people take bold, brave, confident action to learn lessons in life and accept the gift of love to emotionally detach from their more worldly ego nature, to be free and believe in their dreams. And they take that gift of love to detach from old foundations, and the Five of Pentacles could be considered detaching from your worldly egoic nature. We need to put a death to our more ego nature if we want to be balanced, because otherwise, we have our dualistic nature. If we don't learn to love and believe in ourselves and realize we can manifest our dreams into reality, we're going to succumb to our more worldly base egoic nature, and we're going to feel imprisoned, because the things of the world are meant to be enjoyed, but not at the expense of loving ourselves and believing in ourselves. we get trapped in our fear and our insecurity and our addictions, in pride and ego and defensiveness. And we feel, like we betrayed ourselves because we gave up on our dreams. We didn't love and believe in ourselves. We settled for being in jobs and relationships that might have status and image and stability and security, but are we in relationships and jobs and things with other people who harness shadowy Aries energy, which can be like our ego nature, that are bossy and controlling, who are also unwilling to learn and grow and mature? Sometimes people have to get in relationships with people who are just like themselves to kind of have themselves mirrored back at them. And it's like, oh, was I like that? It's like, yes, you were like that. Was I kind of bossy and controlling? Was I kind of trying to enslave and imprison you? Because it was more about me and my wants and my needs and my lust and my greed and my fear and my insecurity. It's like, yes. How do you like it now? Well, some people are going to defend what they invested in because their worldly nature of kind of shadowy Taurus energy and their shadowy Libra energy thinks it's just and fair to emotionally invest in the world and make their life about pride and ego and image. And if this relationship seems to be something based on their view of life that they think, I am willing to defend this, then they'll defend it because that's how they view life. They think it is worth it, even if they feel out in the cold, even if it's not, even if it's painful, even if it's kind of heartbreaking. If it's got the ego and the image and the status, I'm all in. And some of those people who did act recklessly could be concerned because the other people in their life that they could have aligned with, who did align with their more, not their worldly nature, but their more loving, hopeful, believing nature, they had the free will to do that too, and they didn't. And the loving, hopeful people in their life have wished them peace. They're not imprisoned by fear and insecurity and pride and ego. Those people are moving on and giving birth to new things. And they're, having new opportunities in their life because they're listening to their intuition to guide them instead of being fearful of being bold and brave and listening to their intuition. And those people are offering them peace and love, but those people are detaching from them. They're balanced between their mind and their heart. They're standing up for themselves and having good boundaries within themselves. And if this person now wanted to present themselves to these people and offer them a cup of love, they feel that these people would be defensive to them, and rightly so if these people haven't done the work within themselves to detach from the past. For some of them, they could have went and gotten that relationship, and then the relationship ended. And now they're overwhelmed. They invested in repeating patterns of the past. And if they're realizing some people in their life were truly a gift in their life, and secretly they would like to maybe make them a love offer, they're concerned because they're afraid that the people in their life that they rejected before will be defensive to them and guarded to them, which they should be. If they haven't detached from their old ways of being and gotten balance within themselves and learned some lessons in life and taken some creative action to free themselves from their fears and insecurities and prideful or immature and indulgent ways of being, these people aren't going to want to have anything to do with them. And as you high vibe people are moving forward, there could be other people in the world who've gone through the same kind of similar life experience. They've also detached from old foundations in their life, and they are balanced between their mind and their heart, they are also standing up for themselves and they have good boundaries within themselves, they're not going to let any old person into their life. But they could see you moving forward in your life, and they're thinking of investing in you and offering you a new emotional beginning, and thinking that the two of you could move forward in a balanced, just, and fair manner. And you are someone they would be willing to defend and stand up for, because they listen to their intuition, because we have a feminine figure here, which again is someone listening to their intuition. They could be listening to their intuition about, have you taken bold, brave, confident action to learn the lessons you were meant to learn from those past life experiences to free yourself? Are you listening to your intuition and loving and believing in yourself to keep moving forward? If so, this person is waiting until they feel that you are detached from the past, because they don't want to repeat that pattern where someone gets in a relationship with them and hiding that they want to reunite with someone in their past. And just like you will listen to your intuition about anybody who comes in your life. Are you over your past? Have you freed yourself from the past? Have you learned your lessons from that life experience? Is that over emotionally? Have you detached from that and ready to move forward in a relationship? Wishing the past peace and offering love and listening to your intuition to guide you? So there you go, Libra energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.